Okay, Venerable Brother, Venerable Sister, Dhamma friends. So we are going to start the question and answer session. So as usual, Chandrika is ready with written questions and we'll start the session with written questions.
Avasara Bhante, we have received 10 reports today. Report number 1. This has few sections. I'll read section by section.
Yeah.
Most Venerable Bhante, walking meditation. I stood at the beginning of the walking path and felt a coldness and the heaviness of the body to the soles of the feet. When I started walking, the weight of the body was transferring from one foot to another. After feeling was different, however, the feeling was different on tiles and on cement floor. I felt the weight to the heel, inner arch and the ball of the feet, but later felt the whole foot altogether while walking. Later, I felt a more pleasurable, relaxed feeling to my body when standing at the end of the path, more than the sense of the feet. I heard noises of the environment that did not disturb me. I realized the speed of walking was reducing and I was walking more slower than at the start. The walking meditation was very calm, pleasurable and relaxed throughout. Sitting, shall I read?
Yeah.
Sitting meditation. I sat on a low cushion, feeling my hands resting gently on my knees. I could feel in-breath and out-breath with no gap in between the breaths. The breath was very subtle, the in-breath longer than out-breath. Slowly, I began to notice a gap between the breaths. Gradually, both in-breath and out-breath became shorter, and I realized the gap between them had increased. I could feel slight vibrations on my cheeks and body, but I chose not to focus on them and give them any significance. I could feel a sensation like a heartbeat in the gap between breaths. Occasionally, I heard noises from the environment. Despite all of this, I managed to keep my mind calm and relaxed, fully enjoying the meditation. It was a deeply peaceful experience.
That's it. So basically, one thing I thought of adding, now you have mentioned that apart from the breath, you have felt certain sensations. That's also another area, if you want, you can observe, but not immediately. Say, assume that you are continuing your breath meditation and breath becomes subtle and fairly refined. And while you are going through it, assume that now there's a significant or there are some prominent sensations available whatever another place. Probably you can keep your attention there and try to observe that as well. So then actually you will be making use of that as well. Not that you are being completely scattered or distracted, but this is also another area. We can simply say the bodily phenomena or maybe certain feelings that we have the opportunity to look at closely so that we can understand from that as well. Because otherwise, if we simply ignore all that and try to continue using the breath, that's also a path available, not that wrong, but there is an opportunity available by the way on the way back. Say while you are practicing Anapanasati, there's another side opportunity also has arisen, but we ignore it at the moment. You are ignoring it at the moment, but you can make use of that, you can learn from that, say gather some momentum through that, and then you can continue with meditation if in case this completely disappears. There are no more sensations, for example, and you feel like completely uplifted and your body and the mind feel fairly lighter, then you can go ahead with the Anapanasati. But otherwise there are some prominent body sensations, you can try to observe it. So there is no harm, and you don't need to strictly say I am completely ignoring it and I am only paying attention to breathing. That may be little samatha approach, but I feel you can make use of these other sensations as well. So you are including that also to your practice. So there is something to learn from that. So try to include that, then you will be more benefited.
Experience from day-to-day life. Number 1, Recently, during a trip with a group of friends, one person began inquiring about my meditation practice and approach to Buddhism. I was aware that this friend held different views regarding Buddhist teachings. I found myself trying to avoid answering his questions. My hesitations stemmed from not knowing how to provide satisfactory and respectful answers, as well as a desire to avoid arguments with others who might also have differing opinions on the subject. However, as he continued to question me, I eventually shared a brief overview of my practice. He responded by saying that I was wrong. I chose not to argue or explain myself further. Instead, I listened quietly and then excused myself from the conversation while the others continued discussing the topic. Venerable Bhante, question number 1, is there a way to avoid this kind of discussion? 2, is there a specific sutta Buddha taught his monks how Buddha's teachings differs from other teachings and reasons?
Yeah. Before 3, we'll go to the... so anyway, it's a kind of an opportunity for you to see how your mind is reacting amidst all these different complaints, or, sometimes they argue against your practice. And are you going to defend yourself? Are you going to highlight yourself and telling, okay, I am the most perfect, but you all are not that perfect? So we have all the different opportunities, either to look down their argument or look down their practice and to highlight our practice, or to simply accept the defeat and you feel a little depressed. So all are different possibilities available. So how you are handling it? So that is a kind of an opportunity we have. So either we make a kind of an ego, a kind of a personality by looking them down, or we feel little inferior after talking with them. Okay, I am doing something wrong, my practice is not so sound like them, so you feel like inferior. So these are different possibilities available. Without going to any of these, are you able to have a kind of a discussion? That's also a kind of a challenging thing. Say you're talking about your own practice, not really wanting to highlight it, but if necessary, if they are asking, if it is your chance, you can talk about it. If not, you can keep quiet. That's also fine. So, anyway, these opportunities are there for us to look at ourselves. So, how we are making a self anyway, how we are making a person, or to highlight myself, or to have any kind of a personality during such discussion. So, therefore, I feel one approach, as you are suggesting, is to ignore it, escape from it, so that you are not being bothered about it. That is one possibility. But on the other hand, you take the challenge and go through it and see how you are, say, reacting, how your mind basically reacting. Are you able to have a kind of a good conversation, a constructive conversation, so that if you have something, you can also gain from them, because discussion is a good area for us to explore. Probably you have heard about this Anuggahita Sutta. Buddha has mentioned the Sakacca Anuggahita. So it is not that we always have to avoid any kind of a discussion. There may be a good discussion. Sometimes there are good opportunities for us to discuss with others. Maybe if they are also good practitioners, so they also have some understanding about the Dhamma, then there is an opportunity for us to discuss. So it's up to us to make use of it. And there are many things actually related to this even. Now say there are a meeting going on, a group of people are there, so they have their own opinions. I may have my own opinion. Am I trying to defend my opinion? Isn't it? So then it is becoming more personal, rather than simply pointing out my opinion, my idea, or rather kind of an idea, a Dhamma. So we take it so personal that this is my idea has to be one. So then we are taking it to a different wrong angle. So likewise, through a discussion only we can understand how we take things so personal and highlight ourselves, so to being ridiculed by the others. All these things are different possibilities. Otherwise, we can have a good discussion. So they are also talking purely based on the evidence, facts of the Dhamma. Say I am also talking based on the facts of the Dhamma. then we'll have a very good conversation. So it's up to us to properly handle it. So what's the next question?
Is there a specific sutta Buddha taught his monks how Buddha's teachings differs from other teachings and reasons?
Actually, there are many suttas, not just one. Now, even the very first sutta, the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. So, even in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, he simply touches the Atthakilamattana Yoga and the Kamasukallakana Yoga. So, there are certain other methods, other teachings who are touching the Atthakilamattana Yoga. You know, the self-torturing or self-mortification, such teachings are there. They are taking it so serious, so strict, and they think that the liberation is based on such kind of rituals. So such teachings are there. Buddha denies it. And on the other hand, certain other teachings are there talking about the kind of luxurious way of indulging. And those things are also there. And but he's taking the kind of the middle, not going for any self-torturing, self-mortification, and also not into the self-indulgence, but going through in a kind of a middle way. On the other hand, the Brahmajala Sutta. Brahmajala Sutta is a fairly comprehensive, I would say, kind of a treatise where he is talking about all the possible different wrong views, talking about the past, talking about the future, and even about the Nibbana. So many views are there explained in the Brahmajala Sutta, and all 62 may be taken by either not, I can't say all, one or two or many of those wrong views may be adhered to any of the other religions or any other teachings. But Buddha was so careful not to grasp any of these 62. It's very tricky in a way. So if you read Brahmajala Sutta, so the areas Buddha talks are very subtle, very refined areas. Many areas are related to the meditation. So when one is involved with meditation, so that also can lead you towards a wrong view. So Buddha has carefully recognized them and he abandons them and he informs us, okay, there's a kind of a bottleneck here, there's a kind of a wrong track here. Okay, be careful. Okay, this wrong track is available. So he has listed all these possibilities altogether as 62 and pointed out, okay, don't fall into any of these. So they are all wrong. So all those 62, either one or two or many are being practiced by certain other religions. So you need to verify. Now assume that you take certain proper, very, kind of a popular religion, and you need to verify whether, now you take the 62 available with you now, are there any of these 62 are being practiced in this particular religion? We have to look at it in that way. Not to criticize them, but to understand, have they fallen into such kind of a trap? It may be possible. It's a kind of a criteria given us. Okay, these 62 possibilities are there, wrong views are there, be careful, don't fall into them. Even as Buddhists, we might fall to them. So we are not exception. So we also might have, now for example, assume that someone is practicing samatha meditation and they start enjoying the first jhana. Ignorantly they might think, okay, this is the Nibbana. So this is a very common problem. Because it's a very, very blissful experience and you have never experienced some mental state as such. And now only you experience it and you immediately attract it, you immediately appreciate it. And you can even claim, okay, now I have attained a Sotapanna, whatever it is. This is also discussed in the Brahmajala Sutta as the Ditta Dhamma Nibbana Vada. So different jhanic experiences can be wrongly recognized as the Nibbana. So likewise, many areas are there, but a fairly deep sutta, Brahmajala Sutta, you have to have fair amount of patience to properly, clear things. And we can take some guidelines from it so that we are not fallen into any of these. Yeah. Anyone you like to contribute? Please, you are welcome. Anything, Pasada, you have?
If the yogi wants to talk some more,
Yeah.
please raise your hand.
Yeah.
This is same report. The next is about Sotapatti Anga. I have heard of 4 Sotapatti Anga as Saddhamma Shravanaya, Kalyana Mitra Ashraya, Dhammanudhamma Patipada and Yoniso Manasikaraya. But recently when I was listening to Bahudatiko Sutta and Kitagiri Sutta, I heard it as true faith or respectfulness or Shraddha for Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha and Silaya. Venerable Bhante, please explain this to us.
Yeah. So you are correct. So basically, so you can refer a fairly comprehensive information are available in the Panchavera Bhaya Sutta. So there are certain aspects are explained which can be claimed to be with the Sotapanna. One thing is that he is free from the 5 types of fears. So that is one thing. 5 fears are not coming to him. So those 5 fears are attributed to all the 5 precepts. He is not fearful about the fears coming because of the killing animals, killing human beings. So one may get kind of a fear, but he is not having that. He is free from that. Say because of the stealing, the person who is stealing, the thief has certain fear in his mind because someone might find me and they may kill me, they may attack me, they may torture me, they may take me to the police may catch me. So like that the person who is stealing has that fear. Similarly, the one who is involving in sexual misconduct, similarly he will have a kind of a fear. And if someone is using the falsehood, lying, so he also have a fear, okay, when will I get caught? Because I have lied, the other person may recognize it and ultimately accuse me that you have lied me, you have cheated me. And similarly, the 5th one, say if you are practicing this alcoholism, then there is again kind of a fear. So these 5 fears are not coming to the Sotapanna. So that is one attribute explained in the Panchavera Bhaya Sutta. Another thing is this Avecchappasada. Pasada, she is also Pasada. So Avecchappasada means now you have unwavering faith towards the Buddha, unwavering faith towards the Dhamma, the Sangha, and you are so confident about your own sila. So this is not something that kind of superficial faith we are talking here. Say we may start the Dhamma practice, we may start our practice based on some faith, but it is not kind of a tangible faith. It is not a factual kind of a faith, but it's fairly a superficial type of a faith. You have heard about the Dhamma, you have heard about the Buddha, but his teaching is not yet touched by yourself. You are not completely seen for yourself. You haven't internalized it. But as you practice, so you are able to internalize it. You are able to practically experience it. You can read another sutta, the Apana Sutta in the Indriya Samyutta. So there, Venerable Sariputta very beautifully explains it. So at the beginning, you have kind of a saddha, which is somewhat superficial. You have heard about the Indriya, the faculties. You have heard about the, say, Bojjhanga. You have heard about the Noble Eightfold Path. All that are something you have heard. But never you have really known to yourself. Very much like being into yourself. Or you are living with it. So you have owned it. You are experiencing it through your body, through your own mind. You haven't done that. But now, as a result of the practice, now you start experiencing it. Say, for example, you haven't heard about, or you have heard about the mindfulness, but you didn't have it yet. Assume that you may have it at certain places, but in a very tangible way, you didn't have it. Now, say you are practicing for a long time the mindfulness. Later, you understand, okay, while I am doing this task, still I am mindful. While I am engaged with this task, still I am mindful. While I engage with this task, I am mindful. At this particular time, I was not mindful. So likewise, now you know there's a kind of a quality called mindfulness, sati. I have learned about it, I have practiced it, and on certain occasions I have it, But certain other occasions I don't have it. To that level, you are so clear about it, indicating that mindfulness is available to your mind, accessible to you, you know it practically, and later you know, okay, I can how to develop it, and the ways and means how to develop it. It becomes so evident to you. Similarly, the virya, the effort, then the concentration. Say previously you didn't have any concentration, mind is fairly scattered, distracted. But with the practice, you become so calm, quiet and serene, and your mind is so focused, concentrated. Now you have certain practical experience to the samadhi. So likewise, all these qualities are now slowly available to you, accessible to you. No more it is far from you, only to the words. Now you are able to experience them. Then you have so confidence. Okay, what the Buddha mentioned is so true, and I am a kind of a living example for that. So then you are so confident about it. It is not a kind of obsolete teaching anymore. So how about then the teacher who has taught it? So he definitely be a Samma Sambuddha. So you have so confidence of the Buddha and kind of a gratitude towards the Buddha. So likewise then the Sangha, okay, whoever is practicing according to the Buddha's teaching, they have the ability, the facility to experience it even today. And how about them who have honestly practiced the past or the future? Then you have the confidence in them as well. And similarly about your own practice, about your own sila. Now 5 years are not there because you are practicing proper sila. You are more restrained and you are more considerate about your sila. And so you are confident, okay, now my sila has no any shortcomings. I am as much as possible fairly maintaining the sila. So you are feeling confident about the sila. And these are the 4 aspects further mentioned in this Panchaveda Bhaya Sutta. And there's another aspect explained there. That is very, very important. That is about the Patissamuppada. So the statement is Ariyo chassanyayo panyaya sudditto hoti suppatividdho. Ariyo chassanyayo panyaya sudditto hoti suppatividdho. The noble Ariyo chassanyayo, the noble principle, a kind of a law, he has completely seen, completely penetrated through his wisdom. So this law, the Ariya Nyaya, the noble principle is nothing but the Patissamuppada, Idappaccheta. Because of this arises, with the arising of this arises, this also arises. When this does not exist, this also does not exist. With the passing away of this passes away. So this is the kind of a law, the governing law, governing principle. So you have learned it, you have known it, not merely superficially through the book, but you have experienced it. You have some direct understanding about it. So these are the very interesting areas that Buddha attribute to the Sotapanna. You can see, I mean, it is not the very. Say you are once you go there, you are given just a Dhamma sermon. Have you listened to it? Okay, you understood it. Now you are a Sotapanna. Not so easy. So there is a certain amount of a work that you have to do, something that you have to internalize. Then you can say, yes, I am a living example for that. Certain qualities are now embedded in my mind. I am experiencing it. Then you are sure about it, and you have penetrated the Dhamma. So you are confident about the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, and your own sila. So these are very, very important areas for us to learn, to us to explore, so that we are, rather than simply superficially touching here and there, okay, you will get into the path, practically put yourself to the water and start swimming. Yeah.
Report number 2, day 1, morning sitting meditation. Random thoughts were going through my mind most of the time. I was not carried away with them, but I was aware of them. Underneath, I felt calm. My body was still, and it didn't distract me. I focused on my breath in between various thoughts. Walking meditation. I tried to focus on the sand but was distracted by continuous thoughts. Twice I followed the thoughts for a while before returning to the meditation. Mind was not as calm as during the sitting meditation. During meals, I was focused on eating, walking, waiting, etc. But only about 40% of the time. That's all.
That's all. It's fairly natural. I mean, I feel that you are a little beginner to the practice. So for a beginner, so these things are very natural. So you can't completely, immediately, fully concentrate on breathing. Fair amount of time you will be distracted. That's natural. Don't worry about the distractions. Try to again and again establish mindfulness on the breathing. Slowly, you will improve. So don't discourage, rather have kind of a positive mind. I can do it, but I was not doing it. I was doing something else. That's why I am not yet able to do it. So have that very reasonable ground, but I am now going to do it because it is possible. And have that potential, and we all of us have that potential. Actually, we have to believe it, we have to trust it, and then to practice it. Then definitely we can develop whatever necessary qualities in our mind. Yeah.
Report number 3. Most respected Bhante, I pay my gratitude.
Report number 3?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. We have 10.
Really?
Most respected Bhante, I pay my great gratitude to Bhante on continuous advice and request permission to submit a few experiences on mindfulness practice, please. After spending busy office days, Christmas Day I got an opportunity to stay alone at home and tried to spend the day mindfully. Next day morning, I got a very calm state when I was doing my meditation practice and wished to share it. Mindful walking. Even though I started as a beginner to do walking meditation, my mind was not interested in keeping on the foot. Then I just walked, and within a few minutes I felt that I was in an open space. I experienced a calm state and open mind too. Then I gave my attention to the sounds in the environment. There were a lot of minor sounds, but I felt that those were just coming and going like waves on the beach. But it is a peaceful state and not disturbing me. Without intention, sometimes I walked by closing my eyes and then I gave attention to the foot. Then I felt only touch sensation and not felt about body. I enjoyed watching it too. Sometimes I didn't feel the length of the walking path. After a reasonable time, I felt that I should sit. Mindful sitting. I just sat on the walking path itself and watched my mind. It was a very peaceful state. Nothing in my mind. A few darkness experienced, but it was not too dark. Sometimes a few dark waves appeared from my eyes too. After a few times, without my intention, just opened my third eye. Fortunately, I didn't experience anything, and I was able to maintain my calm state further few times. Within brackets, now I always try not to open my third eye, brackets closed. After a few times, a known place appeared, but I didn't proliferate on that and identified it as a sanya. Then it disappeared. Peacefully stayed further few times and sometimes didn't feel about the place and the time properly. But I know I stayed mindfully. Even though I was able to stay a further few times, I finished my meditation since I should be ready to go to the office. However, the calm state maintained further few times. The entire walking and sitting time were 1.5 and 15 minutes. 1 hour and 15 minutes.
That's it?
Day-to-day mindfulness.
Okay.
Yeah. Day-to-day mindfulness. Last few weeks, I listened to Bhante's Sinhala Dhamma Sermon series daily and prepared a note for future easy references. When studying some deep Dhamma points, my mind went to a very calm place and I understood the difficulty of talking for a few more times. One Sunday, when I was listening to Bhante's online Dhamma sermon relating to Paticca Samuppada, I got a very good understanding on Dhamma points. Further, I realized that understanding cannot be obtained by reading books. That day also my voice did not come out properly and I didn't feel that I am talking. Finally, I thought I should allocate more time for practicing meditation rather than reading books. However, after passing further few days, again my desire on reading sutta references that are related to previously studied Dhamma sermons were popping up in my mind. Last weekend, I decided to act against my big desire to collect Dhamma books and I removed a significant amount of previously studied Dhamma notes and books with neutral feelings. Within brackets, a few years ago, I removed all the books relating to my profession and reduced Upadi and always tried to stay as a child. I observed when I have a strong mind, I can remove a lot of things physically as well as mentally, but maintaining that state is not always easy. During the daytime, since I am spending significant but maintaining that state is not always easy during the daytime.
Mm-hmm.
Since I am spending significant time for office matters, I used to spend my free time for reading, writing and summarizing the Dhamma related things to get a calm state. But now I think I should switch to meditation practices. Further, continuously I feel that I am seriously exposed to magic of the mind and wasting time by doing mundane work. Most respected Bhante, I always pay my great respect and gratitude to your teaching and humbly request more advice, please. Theruvan Saranai.
Yeah, I think it's a kind of a balance that we need. Time to time, we need to reflect about our sila. If there are any issues, we need to rectify them, then we are maintaining the sila. That is one thing. The other thing is, time to time, say we have a good discussion, maybe like now, say time to time, so that our any doubts, if there are, then we can clear them. So we become further confident and clear about the teaching. And that is another thing, kind of a discussion. Actually, I am talking about the Anugahita, five supports. And then the Suttamaya Jnana, the Sutta Anugahita, say taking some guidance from the Buddha's teaching. It is so inspiring and giving us so confidence. Because say, if your practice is well aligned with the Buddha's teaching, it gives you a lot of confidence. Otherwise, we are somewhat doubtful about our own achievements, our own path, and we might even fall into wrong tracks because we are not yet able to properly align with the Buddha's teaching. But with the reading and listening to Dhamma, so you have the opportunity to compare your own practice, where you are, what you do, with the Buddha's teaching, so that you are quite sure that you are not mistracked. You are completely aligned with the Buddha's teaching. So therefore, learning, hearing, listening, all that are also helpful. The other two are also necessary, samatha and vipassana. So how to tranquilize the mind, calm down the mind. Say for example, you are reading too much, for example, and you are listening to Dhamma also too much. Now too much Dhamma-related thoughts can come in your mind. So that's also a place that we might go wrong. You know the Dhamma Vitakka. It is quite easy to understand the wrong thoughts, what we call the unwholesome thoughts. Say Kama Vitakka, Vyapada Vitakka, Vihinsa Vitakka. So those are quite naturally, popularly mentioned. Okay, the thoughts related to the sensual desires, the thoughts related to the ill will, thoughts related to the harm. So these are easily we can understand and abandon. But still there are some subtle thoughts, maybe related to the country, related to your own reputation, to gain and fame, and related to your, say, loved ones. So likewise some, and to your own about your health, Jnati Vitakka, Janapada Vitakka, Amara Vitakka. So many different subtle thoughts are also there. So sometimes we can't immediately understand they are as harmful thoughts. It's not so harmful. So we start thinking about them. Ultimately it might end up with kind of a harmful thought. So therefore abandoning them, let them go, keeping the mind fairly quiet, if they are not really necessary to think, is something necessary. So once we are able to completely abandon all this, what is the next one? Next one is Dhamma Vitakka. Next one is the Dhamma Vitakka. So the thoughts related to the Dhamma. So are we to enjoy the thoughts related to the Dhamma, or are we going to abandon even that? So time to time reflecting about the Dhamma is not a harmful thing, but if it becomes a kind of an too much thinking about it, say more and more things are coming, more and more say popping up for thoughts related to many suttas, and you start writing them, you start talking them, emailing them, putting them into WhatsApp messages, and so you are so overwhelmed by the Dhamma Vitakka. That is where somewhere that we need to restrain ourselves. Just to share with you some information. So sometimes some people write me, and sometimes about the monks, about passed away monks. I too like them, I too really love them and respect them. But sometimes people are too much, and they are talking how to preserve them, how to restore their teachings, how to uplift their tradition, how to protect it, how to start a museum about them. So obsessed about them. They keep on writing, many pages, and they put them also to my WhatsApp. So now I have to simply delete them rather than going through them, because it's kind of flooding of happening in your own mind. Because you know that there are 10 Vipassana Upakkilesas we talk, right? So the Vipassana Upakkilesas, kind of misrepresentations of the Vipassana, wrong tracks of the Vipassana. So it happens sometimes. Say you are too much concentrated. It can happen. If your mind is too much agitated because of this kind of a Dhamma Vitakka, that also can happen. And assume that you are so intense in your samatha practice, and you are continuously seeing the nimitta, the obhasa. Even at night, even while you are walking, even while you are sitting, so continuously you see the nimitta. Probably an upaklesa. So likewise, these things may happen to the person who are so intent about the practice, so are fairly dedicated about the practice. They are doing it honestly also, but have to be careful. So what is the limit? How are we going to balance it? So Buddha has basically given us kind of a guideline. Say he is more into the non-proliferation. He's more into non-proliferation. Probably you can remember about Venerable Anuruddha. He's also really a good monk, knowing, reflecting, okay, this Dhamma is for the person who is with few wishes. Apicchasayan Dhammo, Nayan Dhammo, Mahichasa. This Dhamma is for the person who is more into the few wishes, not for the one with many wishes, many desires. Very true. Very valid argument. And then the Viryavantasayan Dhammo, Nayan Dhammo, Kusitassa. This Dhamma is for the one who is quite effortful, not for the one who is lazy, lethargic. It's a very important, really valid argument. And then Santuttasayan Dhammo, Nayan Dhammo, Asantuttassa. This Dhamma is for the one who is really contented, who is quite happy, joyful, but not for the one who is completely discontented, unsatisfied. So this is another very beautiful argument, very true. Another Mahapurisa Vitakka, a great person's reflections. And then Upattita Satasayan Dhammo, Nayan Dhammo, Muttasatis. This Dhamma, this teaching is for the one who is mindful, not for the one with unmindful. That's also very correct, true. We need to practice mindfulness, very true. And then, what next? Samahitasayan Dhammo, Nayan Dhammo, Asamahitassa. This Dhamma is for the one who is tranquil, but not for the one who is scattered, completely distracted. So really a valid argument. Very correct. And then, next. Panyavantasayan Dhammo, Nayan Dhammo, Duppanyasa. This Dhamma is for the one who is wise, not for the fool. Very good, very correct. I think we covered 7, right? So then he was thinking about it. Venerable Anuruddha, before his enlightenment. All are really good and related to the Dhamma. And Buddha came and at the 8th one. So what is it? Nippapancharamassayan Dhammo, Nayan Dhammo, Papancharamo, Papancharatino. This Dhamma is for the one who is preferring the non-proliferation, but not the one who prefers the proliferation, including the Dhamma. Then Venerable Anuruddha used that also as the 8th one. Now he can't continue thinking because it goes against it. So the eighth argument given by the Buddha go against its way of thinking, even though he is thinking really valid, really useful, really valuable Dhamma points, but the 8th one go against all that. He is invited to be quiet, be still, calm, tranquil. And he became an Arahant. And he gratefully mentioned in the Anuruddha Theragatha, okay, the Buddha who is preferring the non-proliferation, he gave me this last instruction. Following it, I was able to attain the Arahantship. So beautiful. I mean, all these are really valid, and that's why Buddha repeated them, and Buddha actually appreciated all that. But he added the 8th one, so important. So therefore, we need to know what is the exact limit of our own exploration, our own contemplation. Am I going too much? Am I thinking about it even though it is a good thing? Am I thinking too much about it? Am I able to quickly calm down myself at any given moment? Or is it now become kind of an obsession in me? That is something that I should know. We ourselves should know. If I assume that we are involved in too many worldly activities, probably it might give certain impact to the mind. And now while you are going to sleep, you still keep on thinking about those worldly matters and what you are doing during the daytime, and keep bothering you. Maybe while you are sitting, keep bothering you, those real thoughts, whatever those incidents, still keep coming to your mind. So that means certain impact is there. So likewise, how we are going to find the balance? It may have daily routine or daily recipe. We can't say a permanent kind of a recipe. So we ourselves should know, okay, have I gone through certain too much talking today? Have I gone to certain too much teaching today? Is this really has agitated my mind? Or is it able to calm it down, quiet it down quickly, and again I am coming back to the complete quietude, complete stillness? Then no problem. That means things are under control. And you are able to achieve the calmness, stillness, silence immediately, pretty good, fairly safe. If not, then we need to balance. Then we are going little far, we need to balance. So even the good things, I feel, we have to know the limit and find a kind of a balance. Anything you need to add? Yeah. So you change the pass the baton, right? Mr. Cabral. Baton passing. Right.
Avasara Bhante.
Yeah.
Actually, my understanding is still I am not in the extreme stage. I can calm down my mind by listening to Dhamma, and to get a good concentration, I want to write down it.
You want to write it down?
Yeah.
So and while writing down, that means your mind become concentrated.
Yeah, concentrated, and it's getting too relaxed, and I can't remember a lot. Even after writing the note also, I can't remember a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to write it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's better, because otherwise your mind start thinking about it. Mm. So once you wrote it, then you are free from it, because you are vomiting it. You are vomiting it to the book, and nothing is now remaining, and there is no responsibility for you to remember them, because everything is written. In case I want, I can refer it, so I am not burdened. Very, very good. That's I fully agree.
Yeah, that is the way I am doing, Bhante. Only just listening is not enough to me. That is my weakness, I understood. I want to write down. When I am listening here, the Dhamma sermons, entire one I can't hear.
Right.
It's going out. And I am getting some concentration, and I am going to some empty place also sometimes. That's why I am trying to read, write and understand the things.
Correct.
But it also not in my mind. Most of the time not in my mind. Sometimes it's popping up when interesting some
points.
areas are come.
Correct.
But it's still not disturbing to me.
Correct.
Then
no harm.
Okay.
I mean, if it is not disturbing, then no harm, because things are under control. They haven't come to the obsessive level. So you are able to appreciate it, you are able to value it. If there is something, you can get the message from it and use it for your own practice. And if not, you can keep it aside and keep the mind quiet. No problem.
Yeah. When writing also, I can observe as a third person. Then not disturbing to me.
Good. That's all right.
Most
of the time, by the way, but that's what I learned, because sometimes when we are involved too much, so slowly, the thinking starts developing. The thoughts become multiplying. The inner calmness, relaxation, or the silence become little disturbed. So I feel the inner silence is more valuable than allowing the mind to, not really into the proliferation, but that pakampita kind of. Now say intentional thinking is one thing, and once we get into the intentional thinking, we can get on to the proliferation level. That's another thing. That's a really harmful thing. Assume that both things are not there, but still certain little minor background thoughts may be there. You are not fully enjoying the perfect kind of a silence, isn't it? But there may be instances you may be able to enjoy that perfect kind of a silence. That is so beautiful, isn't it? So where you are so quiet, so calm, really relaxed, and the mind is utterly peaceful. So that is so beautiful. So the point is, now when you are into more talking and chattering and to other activities and too much involved with various tasks, so it's very unlikely that you will be getting that very pure kind of a silence. It might get disturbed probably by that background thinking, background thoughts, which are not intentional thoughts, by the way. So we have to see, have I sacrificed my beautiful inner silence because of these too much activities or too much talking or something like that. So I feel therefore we should not really sacrifice that beauty, because it is something available, isn't it? Something so beautiful.
Yeah, I experienced that one also.
Yeah.
That is not from Dhamma readings. When we are doing day-to-day activities and when remembering those things.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Tusita, can you little increase the volume? Yeah.
My voice is not coming, but most of the time now my voice is not coming.
Voice is also not coming.
No,
so that's why we are increasing the volume.
No, I realized that also after a few times. After listening Dhamma sermons.
Right.
And sometimes my voice is not coming.
Not coming. No, that can happen because I don't know. So the silence is so I feel like silence is more profound than talking. So the beauty with the Buddha is that even when he is talking, he is silent. That's the most beautiful thing. Internally there is no any other chattering or disturbance. Rather, while talking also his mind is silent. So that's the most beautiful thing. Good.
Much merit, Bhante.
Yeah. Thero Saranai.
Report number 4, Bhante. Avasarai Venerable Bhante, meditation experience report. Sitting meditation. became aware of the posture, did a quick scan of the body and settled down. Primary object was watching in and out breath. Mind kept getting distracted with thoughts, was able to again and again bring the attention back to the breath. Thoughts became less, breath became very subtle and felt very relaxed and calm. Whenever a thought arose, I watched it fading away. Focus was not on the breath as such. It was more like an awareness of feelings arising and passing away. Walking meditation. Primary object was observing the sensations on the soles of the foot. Started with left, right, and after some time it was more of a general awareness of the moving body. Became acutely aware of eyes blinking. When I stopped walking at the end of the path, felt the entire body in a state of flux. Vibrations from the head to the toes, weight of the body pressing on the ground. Walked for about 50 minutes. Daily activities. Tried to maintain awareness when changing positions, within brackets, from seated to standing to walking, brackets closed, and generally other activities. Felt calm and relaxed and happy within. My knees and shoulders have been rather stiff and painful for a few weeks. However, when I start observing the pain in these joints and watching the changing nature, the pain and stiffness become an interesting subject rather than a nuisance. Thero and Saranai.
May I know who has written it? I caught you. You are able to touch the kind of unattached state, right? Switch it on.
Avasara Bhante?
Yeah.
Yes, but as of late it's kind of, I feel,
you lost
back
it?
again. Not lost. There are moments when it's very quiet and still and kind of space and all that is there.
So, I mean, if I ask you a question, are you able to quickly jump to that? Say while walking, are you able to quickly put your attention to the emptiness?
I have to make a determination.
Determination.
Yes.
How are you determining?
I make a statement in my mind saying, this is it, enough thinking, enough this thing, I've got to abandon everything.
Right.
Something like that, and after maybe some time I can touch that.
It's successful.
Yes, but
I mean, you are fairly able to maintain it.
Not today.
Not today.
Yes.
that
Maybe longer
means kind
retreats I can.
No. Okay, understood.
Yes.
So there are fluctuations. That means.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So then, I mean, you need to practice. Basically, the practice is the only solution.
Yes.
So once you are there, try to be there for a long time. Then.
Yes.
Because then it will become more seasoned, more matured, and you are quite confident in it. You are very much like consolidating it.
Yes.
So then otherwise, I mean, things are all right.
Yes.
So
generally, I mean, I can see in the daily life, living moments of stress or whatever that's going on. So most of the time I'm...
So you are able to recognize them at their initial stage?
Yes.
Okay.
It's kind of, I feel like it's no point getting involved at all.
Right.
But we do what has to be done and move on. Yes.
You have to go through it.
Yeah.
So how about the defilements? Are you experiencing any kind of a reduction of it?
Yes. Definitely.
Okay.
Yes.
Then fine.
Yes.
Good. Yeah, Nissarana.
Report number 5. Venerable Bhante. When doing walking meditation, I focus on placing the left foot, then the right foot, repeating as I go. I notice the firmness under my feet. I notice first my heel, then the outside of my foot, and then the big toe touching the ground in that order. The sand feels cool under my feet. I can feel the sensation of the smooth, small grains of sand and the larger, sharper grains at the surface at times. The smoothness feels nice as my feet, and the sharp grains sometimes sting. When I am walking in this way, I sometimes lose my balance. I can usually maintain my focus on the primary object for a few minutes before my mind drifts. I try to bring my focus back to the primary object, which lasts for a few minutes. When I try to be mindful about the way my mind drifts, it seems to be towards replaying events or more often making plans. Thanking you.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, you pay attention more and more to the sensation of your foot. So at the moment, there are various replays and all that, planning, everything going on. Don't worry about them for the moment. As much as possible, try to be with the body. Whenever foot is touching the ground, try to pay attention there. Fully comprehend that experience. So that involvement slowly reduce the thinking. Because immediately we can't abandon thinking. No point of fighting against it. Better pay more attention to the body awareness, whatever the bodily activities, that becomes your kind of a refuge. Slowly, then it will weaken the thinking or whatever the proliferation, and you will be slowly calmed down. Yeah.
If the yogi wants to discuss, please raise your hand. Report number 6. Venerable Bhante, during sitting meditation, I focused on the breath coming in and out of my nostrils as the primary object. On the out breath, I could sense warm air on my upper lip, and on the in breath, the air felt cooler. The pauses between the in breath and out breath gradually became longer. After a few minutes, thoughts would enter my head. I noticed I was replaying past conversations and was no longer feeling the breath. I reminded myself to focus on the breath at the nostrils. During walking meditation, I felt rough sand under my feet. There was a sunny patch in the middle of the path, and the sand felt warmer there. When the sun moved and the whole path was shady, the temperature felt consistent. That's all, Bhante.
It's okay. I mean, you have put kind of an experience, kind of a valid experience. Just continue more and more that the details are available to you. That means that you are more into the practice, more into the details. Your ability to clearly comprehend things are improving. Nothing much to add. Just continue.
Report number 7. Most Venerable Bhante, Avasarai. Appreciate if you could advise us if being a vegetarian can help one to progress on the path. Thank you, Bhante.
So being a vegetarian helping to move in the path. So it's actually our own attitude. So if you feel, say, I am not strict into that, I am more lapse. There are many more lapse into that, and I am ignorant in that. I have more desires. I am eating everything, and I am so greedy. And really, you are like that. Then it can be a hindrance because you are so greedy and you can't restrain yourself, and you are overeating and going after various delicious food, etc., etc. Then it can definitely be a hindrance. On the other hand, there is another way of putting it. You might go to the other extreme, telling that, okay, I am a vegetarian, I am even a kind of a vegan, and all the others are, so barbarians and they eat everything, and I am the only best person who is practicing, and all others are really bad and blah blah. That's also not good. That's also a hindrance to the practice, by the way. Don't think that it's an advantage to your practice, because you have gone to the other extreme. You have taken it too hard, too serious, and you are grasping, and you have gone to the kind of a wrong view, even like that. So that is also a hindrance to the practice. It's a drawback to your practice. So then how are you going to keep it? So if you think, okay, if I am not eating meat or any such thing, so if I am feeling more confident, or say I am more feeling lighter and more compassionate, I am more considerate, and I am giving certain opportunity for the others also to live, my living is not harmful to the others. So you are giving kind of a confidence to yourself and kind of appreciative joy to yourself, and you are more innocent and more non-harming the others, and you are not taking it to the previous any of the extremes, and then definitely it may be helping to you. And you are not comparing yourself with the others and putting you up, rather you keep it to yourself. Others also don't know much about your own practice, and you are also behaving as a normal human being, not wanting to highlight yourself, but you are keeping your principles, keeping your policies, say practices to you, and you gain some confidence, you gain some appreciative joy because of them. Definitely it's a help to your practice. So therefore, any of the rituals, any of the observances, we have to take from that angle. Say if we are taking them to any extremes, then they can be harmful. But if we are properly managing them, and so that our wholesome qualities are growing and the unwholesome qualities are weakening, definitely it will be helpful. And the thing is that Buddha didn't strictly denied any of these. He didn't strictly denied telling, okay, the monks should never eat meat, should never eat fish. There are no rules as such. So the Venerable Devadatta want to put it, but Buddha denied it. So he has kept the things fairly open, but encouraged people, the monks, not to harm, basically. So he is so compassionate. He encouraged the harmless behavior, and so that we take it to a level, okay, my way of living is not kind of harm to another person, another being. So I am trying to be a vegetarian, from taking from that angle, well accepted, well appreciated. But it is not a reason for you to look down the others and trying to put you in the pedestal, looking down the others, since they are eating. That's also taking you to a wrong direction. Attukkansana paravambana. It's mentioned in the Dhamma as Attukkansana paravambana. Any of the good practices can develop kind of a personality view, keeping you in a very conceited level and looking down the others. So that is not the mean. That is not the right way of putting it. So the proper way of putting it is that you are practicing it. Okay, that is pretty good. Keep it to yourself. Be quiet about it. Develop yourself according to it. No harm. But have a nice relationship with the others as well. Yeah.
Report number 8 and 9, it's about behavior, so I'll read both together.
Yeah.
Dear sir, why my mind always looking for past pleasurable memories? I know it's Panchakamaya, only lasts for short period of time. That's because still my mind does not get the happiness from meditation than listening to music. I wonder, even though I won't get any advices after listening to music, unlike listening to Dhamma sermon, still my mind search for that. Other one, our minds always look for love, sometimes from parents, spouse, children. Do we really need this? Sometimes I feel a bit worried when my kids love their grandma more than me. I know thoughts are impermanent, plus begging attention, love from others make me feel I'm a beggar. I think monks, they don't expect love from others. Please advise.
Very interesting. Very honestly you have put it to words. Really appreciate it. So we as human beings, we are looking for safety, kind of a acceptance by the others, appreciation by the others. So all these are human nature. So when your loved ones, you as the parent, you expect them to respect you, to accept you, and give you the honor, the respect, all that. So this is a kind of a need we have. So when they are ignoring you, and when they are disrespectful to you, then you feel really upset, you feel really ignored, like belittled, like, and you feel even depressed. So all are related to the personality view in a way. So what's the solution? A solution may be, we can say a kind of a very high Dhamma solution. So, but rather than doing that, I feel that we have to be more realistic. We need to understand, okay, there is this kind of a need in any person. So everybody is expecting such kind of a respect, isn't it? Everyone is expecting such kind of a respect. Say your children may expect a respect. So if the parents are ignoring them and always, now say your child is giving a kind of a valuable argument, giving his own view, and you as the parent every time ignore it, then he might feel that I am not worthy and my voice is not being accepted. So they also have their own view, they also have their own beautiful thoughts, ideas. So we as parents, if we give some chance to them, then they also feel confident. Okay, my mother, my father really accepted my answer, accepted my view, my idea, and they also being so polite, so humble to accept that, to do that. So they feel beautiful. Because you know that for children to grow, they need such kind of an appreciation. It is not that we as parents or elders that we only have the best answer or we only have the best solution. They also have. So are we humble enough to accept it, to note it? So that is one area. The other thing is as children, are we ignoring our parents? So parents basically have the idea, okay, they have to be respected, so they are the ones who really help us to grow, and they are the ones so respectful, and their ideas, their views, their, say, advices always has to be admired, accepted, they have to be given the proper place. So that kind of a view is always there with the elders and the parents. Actually, I can remember one interesting example given by Professor Galmangoda. Probably you have heard. He recently passed away, one of the professors in the Kalalgoda University. He one day mentioned that he did some counseling also. And one day, an elderly couple came to meet him. And the woman is telling, okay, sir, you see, my husband is completely gone mad. He can't even remember everything. And he can't even remember where he kept his spectacle and all that. You know that the people come up with these things. And he somehow the wife has complained and put the fellow to Professor Galmangoda, and she left. Okay, I want to talk with you, and you leave, and I will have a chat with him. Then now he is interviewing the guy. So Professor Galmangoda found, no, he is a person who is a teacher, and he used to teach many children. So, you know, when they are teaching, the children are asking questions and they are respecting and every day appreciating their work and all that. Now, after he become retired, so that appreciation is no more. That appreciation is no more. There is no person to accept your advices. There is no person to listen to you. There is no person to appreciate your views. So they become null and void. I mean, their voice being completely ignored. The children of him do not care, but previously when he is conducting classes or whatever, so those children are there always to listen to him, pay attention, and you know they are writing what they are talking. So you feel that you are really a worthy person. After retirement, what happened? Nothing is there. So that has come as a breakage to his mind. So what immediately Professor has done is, he has asked this fellow, okay, I have a class, let's go. He's taking this same person to his class, and he's telling, okay, to the children there, the university students there, okay, he's our new person today, he's going to lecture you, so please welcome him. So he's going to give a nice lecture today. And so he's giving a chance, okay, you just talk, give some ideas, share your some experience to these young guys. So he start talking. Now he's so happy. Yeah, professor, okay, let me talk. And he go to the podium and, start talking. The mental problem was gone. So we as elders, we have this kind of an attitude. So our idea, our voice has to be respected, have to be listened by the others. If not, I feel like ignored. I feel broken. I feel thrown away like. So therefore, these are very humanistic qualities we all share. So therefore, we have to be respectful. We have to know what's really going on. Maybe your parent, maybe your husband, wife, your grandchild, or so grandparents, whoever. So give some chance to them. Even though they are talking nonsense, it is up to us to listen to them. You may spend a few minutes, but appreciate that conversation, and it's a kind of a chance for them to boost themselves. But anyway, it's an egoistic way. We need to understand that also. They want to boost their ego by doing it. What to do? We can't immediately preach them the non-self. So that's the other answer. The most profound answer is the non-self. For that, it will take time. You need to practice mindfulness. You need to develop concentration. Then you need to practice Vipassana. Then you are, say, going to a more deeper understanding. Okay, there is no person, there is no self here, and you are able to maintain your mind in the unattached state. Well and good. Then either the people are accepting you or not. You are not being bothered because you know where to keep your mind. That's why now they say Buddha, when advising the monks related to the Dhamma sermons, so he mentioned, monks, when you are preaching, don't expect even a sadhu. You can see. So where Buddha has kept us. So he say, even when you are preaching, don't expect even kind of an approval, a sadhu from the audience. That's it. You do it as a service, as a way of doing it respectfully, properly, and well organized. You are delivering the sermon, but still don't expect anything. That's it. So likewise, he has given a very mature kind of an approach, but we can't say that everybody is able to understand and adhere to it. To them, boosting the ego is what typically we are doing. So people, elderly people, parents, they have that because they are the boss, they are the parents, they are the teachers. Even though now they are old, so they were there. So when you start ignoring, they feel really sort of broken-hearted. There is kind of a mental disease using that name, I can't remember. They now, in the Western psychology, they give various names to these little things. I can't exactly remember the name, that they have given a label to this as well. So once after the retirement, what happened to you? So they give such a different name to that mental illness. Anyway, that we all can understand what's really going on. We need to accept what is really going on. Yeah.
So the last report is yet to come to me. She was writing it.
Writing it. No need? Okay. Okay, that's all then. No need, yeah. So any more questions or any suggestions, any comments, or we're going to wind up? Okay then. Everyone happy or unhappy? So puzzled. So I was talking, but you are not talking. I don't know whether you need some chance to talk.
Even now they can raise their hands if they have anything to talk.
Otherwise you might think, okay, only Chandaratana is talking. I was not given the chance to talk. Hope that you are not thinking like that, right? So another little announcement is there. So please try to participate to the Dhamma sermon, because there's a little complaint from the organizers. This is not for you, Venerable Pasada. So typically sometimes people come and maybe a little late, and they, after the question and answer session, they disappear, not even reporting to the organizers. So that is not nice. So because this is a retreat environment and we all are mature people, and the organizers are also doing their part by ordering the food and organizing things, and they are also taking fair amount of burden. So we as the participants, it is our duty to adhere to the rules. So when you are coming, please come on time, and try to stay at least till the end of the Dhamma sermon if you are a day retreatant. But if you are not adhering to that, then you are giving a kind of a bad example to the others. So while the things are operating, while the retreat is going on, you take your bag and leaving the premises, give a kind of a bad impression to the others. So please understand that and try to stay the whole day if you are a day retreatant. So the others are, so the residential retreatants, no problem, because you are anyway staying. Okay, with that note, I will conclude today's Dhamma sermon, question and answer session. I will start the Dhamma sermon maybe at 3:45. Okay, thank you very much for participation.